The emergency lights painted everything red inside Station Prometheus. Quirin clicked his mandibles together nervously as he watched another security team refuse to enter the lower cargo bays. 3 cycles had passed since the creature escaped, and the station was dying slowly. Fuel reserves sat just beyond the sealed doors where the thing had made its nest. 2 more cycles and life support would start failing. 20,000 beings depended on those systems. Administrator, another ship is requesting docking clearance. His assistant announced through the comm. Quirin wanted to laugh. Docking clearance. As if anything mattered anymore. Deny it. Tell them we're under quarantine. But the human pilot didn't seem interested in taking no for an answer. His voice crackled through the station's speakers, casual and unhurried. Prometheus Control, this is Freight Hauler Delta 7. I've got medical supplies scheduled for delivery. What's the holdup? We have a situation, Quirin said carefully. No need to cause panic in the shipping lanes. A dangerous specimen has escaped containment. What kind of dangerous? Quirin pulled up the security footage. Even watching it again made his exoskeleton crawl. The razor wing moved like liquid death through the corridors. 6 meters of crystalline claws and acid saliva. 2 security officers had tried to tranquilize it. The video showed what remained of them. A razor wing from Savros 9. Do you know what that is, human? Can't say I do. It's classified as terminate on site across 73 systems. Containment is considered impossible. It has killed 2 of our security personnel and injured 17 civilians. Quirin pulled up the species database. Every expert in the galaxy agrees these creatures cannot be managed, only destroyed. Silence on the comm then. How long since it ate? The question caught Quirin completely off guard. What? Food. When did it last eat? And is it protecting something? Quirin checked the reports. The creature circled one specific area constantly. Attacked anyone who approached, but never pursued beyond a certain radius. It guards a section of the cargo bay. As for food, the shipping manifest indicates the last feeding was 6 cycles ago, before the transport arrived. So it's stressed, hungry, and territorial. Probably scared too. The human paused. I used to work animal control back on Earth before I got into hauling. I can handle this. Several of Quirin's advisory staff made sounds of disbelief. A Centaurian medic spoke up. Earth is a Class 9 death world. Your animal control probably involves plasma rifles and orbital strikes. Nope. Mostly involve patience and understanding behavior. The human's tone remained infuriatingly calm. Look, I can help or I can leave. Your choice. But those medical supplies won't matter much if everyone suffocates in 2 cycles. Quirin looked at the council members assembled via hologram. The Drellian representative gestured with 3 of her arms. We have no other options. Every mercenary group we've contacted refuses the contract. The last team quoted us a price higher than the station's annual budget. What do you need? Quirin asked the human. Access to your fabrication bay. Full autonomy. No weapons. No kill orders. I'll need about 6 hours to prepare. Then I'm going in alone. Alone? Quirin couldn't believe what he was hearing. That thing will tear you apart. Maybe, but I doubt it. Send me the docking clearance and the security footage. All of it. Against every instinct screaming in his head, Quirin authorized the docking. The human's small freight vessel connected to the station's outer ring an hour later. Owen Briggs looked exactly like the database said humans looked. 2 arms, 2 legs, forward-facing eyes. Deathworld predator biology wrapped in work coveralls and a calm smile. He spent hours reviewing the footage while the fabrication bay hummed and whirred. Quirin watched through the security feeds as the human built equipment that made no sense. Heat lamps, pressure sensors, sound dampeners, large quantities of synthesized meat. Not a single weapon. What is your plan? Quirin finally asked. Owen glanced up at the camera. That razor wing isn't a monster. It's a parent. What? The shipping manifest says 2 razor wings were in the cargo shipment. I only see one in your footage. Where's the other container? Quirin pulled up the records. During the chaos of the initial breach, automated systems had rerouted several containers to different warehouses. One of them matched the Razorwing shipment codes. It sat in a sealed warehouse 3 sections away from the cargo bay. The creature is searching for its offspring, Owen said simply. Everything in your footage supports it. The circling pattern, the territorial aggression, the specific area it's guarding. That's where it last since the other container before your systems moved it. The Centaurian medic reviewed the footage again. He's right. The behavior matches parental distress patterns in pack-bonding species. So what do you propose? Quirin asked. Owen loaded his equipment onto a hover cart. Heat lamps, meat, portable environmental controls. First, I prove I'm not a threat. Then we reunite it with its offspring. Then we get both of them off your station safely. The species is illegal in 73 systems, Quirin reminded him. Then I'll take them somewhere they're not illegal. I know a place. Sanctuary planet called Haven 7. Humans run it. We specialize in rehabilitating traumatized exotic species. Owen checked his equipment one last time. But first, I need to make a friend. Your probability of survival is 0.003%, Quirin calculated. Owen smiled. Back on Earth, I once pulled a grizzly bear out of a drainage culvert with my bare hands. Everyone said that was impossible too. He headed toward the cargo bay entrance. Open the door, and tell your security teams to stay back, no matter what they see. Quirin watched the human disappear into the red-lit corridor. Every instinct said this was insanity. But they were out of options and out of time. The cargo bay doors opened. Darkness swallowed Owen whole. Then came the sound every being on the station had learned to fear. The scrape of crystalline claws on metal. The low, rumbling hiss of a razor wing sensing prey that Owen's voice came through his comm. Barely a whisper. Easy now. Nobody's here to hurt you. The entire station held its breath and watched. Darkness pressed against Owen from all sides. His eyes adjusted slowly to the emergency lighting, just enough to see shapes and shadows. The razorwing scales caught the dim red glow, creating dancing reflections across the cargo bay walls. Beautiful, really. Terrifying, but beautiful. The creature circled him at 30 meters. Claws scraped metal with every step. Sparks flew. Owen counted 12 eyes reflecting the light back at him. He'd read the biology reports during his review. Compound vision, heat sensing, motion tracking. This thing could see him in a dozen different ways that he sat down on the cold floor and made himself small. Unthreatening. The hover cart with his supplies rested 5 meters behind him. Close enough to reach. Far enough to not seem aggressive. You're scared, he said quietly. Not expecting the creature to understand words, but tone mattered. Tone always mattered. Your baby's missing. You don't know where. Everyone who comes close smells like fear and carries weapons. I get it. The razorwing's circling pattern tightened. 20 meters now. Its breathing came fast and sharp. Dorsal spines raised along its back. Owen recognized the signs from 100 different Earth species. This wasn't hunting behavior. This was pure stress. He stayed motionless for an hour. Then 2. His legs cramped, but he didn't shift position. On the security feeds, he knew Quirin and the others were watching, probably thinking he'd lost his mind. Maybe he had, but every animal he'd ever worked with taught him the same lesson. Patience outlasted fear every single time. The razor wing stopped circling, settled near a cluster of cargo containers, the area it had been guarding. Its breathing slowed slightly. Progress. Owen reached behind him, movements glacially slow. Found the synthesized meat. The biology reports said razor wings were primarily carnivorous. Needed high protein. This batch was designed to match the chemical composition of their natural prey. He slid the package forward across the floor. It stopped halfway between them. The creature's 12 eyes fixed on the food. Didn't approach. Owen understood. The razor wing wasn't hungry. Stress killed appetite. He'd seen in grizzlies, in wolves, in every traumatized animal he'd ever worked with. Food came second to safety. Don't want to eat? That's fine. Owen activated the heat lamp on the cart. Warm light spilled across the floor. The temperature in the bay was too cold for a reptilian species. The shipping containers had climate control, but this open space didn't. But you need warmth. That's not negotiable. The Razorwing's attention shifted to the heat source. Owen saw its muscles relax slightly, saw the way it oriented toward the warmth. Basic biology overriding fear. Another hour passed. Then, 3 more. Owen's back ached. His water supply was running low. But the Razorwing had stopped treating him like a threat. It approached the heat lamp, ate some of the meat, didn't attack. Owen started speaking again. Not words this time, just sounds, low and rhythmic. The same kind of meaningless vocalizations he used to use with bears. Establishing presence, proving consistency. The Razorwing's eyes tracked him, but its aggressive posturing decreased 0.6 hours into the vigil. Owen stood up. Slow, careful, every movement telegraphed in advance. The Razorwing tensed but didn't charge. He pulled out a small hollow projector and activated it. The image of a shipping container appeared in the air. The identification number matched the missing cargo. The reaction was immediate. The Razorwing's entire body shifted toward the hologram. Wings spread slightly. The low rumble in its chest changed pitch. Owen had heard that sound before in Earth animals. Recognition. Desperation. I know where your baby is, Owen said. He pointed toward the section of the station where the container had been rerouted. 3 sections that way. Sealed warehouse. Your offspring is there. The creature couldn't understand his words, but it understood the gesture. It moved toward the cargo bay door. Owen stepped into its path carefully. Not yet. We do this smart. Together. Otherwise, station security will kill you before you get halfway there. He pulled out his comm and contacted Quirin. I need safe passage to Warehouse Section 7. And I need it now. The administrator's voice crackled back, full of disbelief. You're alive. Obviously. The Razorwing isn't a monster. It's a parent looking for a child. The missing container is in Warehouse 7. We need to reunite them. Impossible. The creature is illegal. Transporting it through the station would violate a dozen protocols. Owen looked at the Razorwing. It stared back at him with those 12 eyes. Waiting. Trusting. You've got 2 choices, Quirin. Let me move this creature safely to its offspring, or watch it tear through your station trying to find its baby on its own. Because that's what's going to happen. Parent animals don't negotiate when their children are in danger. Silence on the comm. Owen could imagine the debate happening on the bridge. Protocol versus survival. Law versus necessity. Finally, Quirin responded. If there's even one injury, one single casualty, you'll be arrested and tried for every violation in the Galactic Legal Code. Understood. Clear the corridors between here and Warehouse 7. Give me a direct path. No security teams, no observers. Just empty hallways. This is insanity. No, this is animal behavior. Clear the path. 10 minutes later, the cargo bay doors opened. Owen stepped into the corridor. The Razorwing followed. Not attacking, not threatening. Just walking beside him like they'd done this 1,000 times before. Behind them, emergency lights painted everything red. Ahead, somewhere in the station's maze of corridors, a container held a juvenile Razorwing. Owen hoped they weren't too late. Hoped the life support systems hadn't failed. The creature beside him made a low sound. Almost like a question. We'll find your baby, Owen promised. I swear it. They walked together through the empty station. Human and monster. Except Owen knew the truth now. There were no monsters here. Just fear, misunderstanding, and a parent who'd do anything to protect their child. The same as any species in the galaxy. The corridors stretched ahead like veins through the station's body. Owen walked steadily, not too fast, not too slow. The Razorwing matched his pace. Its claws clicked against the metal floor in a rhythm that would have terrified him a day ago. Now it just sounded like footsteps through the security feeds thousands watched. Entire sections had evacuated ahead of them. Owen saw beings pressed against observation windows, mandibles clicking, appendages trembling. Fear radiated through the station like heat. But fear of what? A creature just trying to find its child. Section 4 junction ahead. Quirin announced through Owen's comm. Warehouse 7 is 200 meters beyond that. The Razorwing's pace quickened. It could smell something now. Owen recognized the change in behavior. Every parent animal did this when close to their offspring. Urgency replacing caution. Easy, Owen said. The creature's head swiveled toward him. Those 12 eyes locked on his face. I know you want to run, but we're almost there. Stay with me. The warehouse doors were sealed. Biohazard protocols had locked them automatically during the initial breach. Owen approached the control panel while the Razorwing paced behind him. Agitated now, making sounds that resonated through the corridor walls. Quirin, I need these doors open. Working on it. The system is fighting the override. The Razorwing's agitation increased. It approached the doors and scraped them with its claws. Deep gouges appeared in the metal. Owen stepped between the creature and the door. Risky, but necessary. Look at me. He kept his voice firm, but calm. I know you want through that door, but breaking it won't help. Let me handle this. The creature's breathing came in sharp bursts. Stress levels climbing. Owen had seen this before in Earth animals. The moment where fear and desperation override everything else. With a careful trust they'd built could shatter completely, he pulled out the hollow projector again, showed the image of the container, then made a gesture toward himself, pointed at the door, back to himself. The message was clear even without words. Trust me to handle this. The Razorwing stepped back. The doors opened with a mechanical groan. The warehouse stretched beyond, filled with rerouted cargo from the chaos 3 cycles ago. Temperature inside was barely above freezing. Owen's breath misted in the air. The container sat in the far corner. Standard exotic specimen transport. Climate-controlled, reinforced walls, emergency life support. Owen ran toward it with a Razorwing at his heels. Please don't be too late. Pleased that he accessed the container's control panel. Life support was active, but failing. Internal temperature had dropped to dangerous levels. Oxygen mix was off. The whole system was degrading. Owen triggered the emergency release. The container opened with a hiss of equalizing pressure. Inside, curled in a corner, lay the juvenile Razorwing. Smaller than its parent, maybe 3 meters long. Not moving, the adult creature made a sound Owen had never heard before. Grief, raw and devastating. It pushed past him and pressed its head against the juvenile. Gentle despite those deadly claws, Owen grabbed his medical kit. Animal physiology was animal physiology. Different details, same basic principles. He checked the juvenile's breathing. Shallow. Body temperature way too low. Dehydrated. Malnourished. But alive. Warming blankets first, he muttered, pulling supplies from his kit. He wrapped the juvenile carefully while the parent watched. Then fluids. Subcutaneous injection. Same as we do for a reptile on Earth. The adult Razorwing didn't interfere. Just watched as Owen worked, occasionally touching its offspring with what might have been concern. Owen set up a portable oxygen system. The juvenile's breathing improved slightly. He administered fluids designed for reptilian species, adjusted for the Razorwing's known biology. The parent creature's 12 eyes tracked every movement. Come on, kid, Owen whispered. You survived this long. Don't quit now. Minutes crawled past. The juvenile's body temperature started rising. Its breathing stabilized. One eye opened, then another. The parent Razorwing made that sound again, but different this time. Relief instead of grief. Owen sat back on his heels, exhausted. Behind him, he heard footsteps. Quirin entered the warehouse with several other species. A Centaurian medic, a Drellian engineer. They kept their distance, but their expressions had changed from fear to something else. You saved it, the Centaurian medic said quietly. We're not done yet. Owen checked the juvenile's vital signs again. It needs proper care, stable temperature, proper nutrition, monitoring for the next several cycles. The galactic protocols demand these creatures be destroyed, Quirin said. But his voice lacked conviction. Then the protocols are wrong. Owen stood up. The adult Razorwing positioned itself between him and the others. Protective. But when Owen placed a hand on its flank, it relaxed slightly. These aren't monsters. They're living beings. A parent and child who got ripped apart by illegal smugglers and incompetent containment procedures. The Drellian engineer stepped forward. I can adjust the warehouse environmental controls. Make it suitable for their biology. The Centaurian medic nodded. I have supplies. Nutrients. medical equipment. Owen looked at them, saw understanding replacing fear. You're helping. We watched what you did, the medic said. How you worked with a creature every database says is untamable. If a human can do that, maybe we've been approaching these situations wrong for a very long time. Quirin's comm chirped. His mandibles clicked in distress. Enforcement ship incoming. They've detected the illegal specimens. They're demanding the razor wings be destroyed and you be arrested. Owen looked at the two creatures behind him. Parent and child, finally reunited. How long do we have? They'll dock in 4 hours. Then we've got 4 hours to figure out how to save their lives. Owen met Quirin's compound eyes. You going to help or follow orders? The administrator was silent for a long moment. Then he turned to his staff. Seal the warehouse. No one enters without my authorization. And someone bring this human a proper medical station. Owen smiled. Thank you. Outside, an enforcement ship burned through space toward Station Prometheus. Inside, a human and a handful of beings who'd learned something new worked to save 2 lives the galaxy had deemed worthless. Sometimes the hardest thing to change wasn't policy or law. It was the moment someone decided compassion mattered more than protocol. The enforcement ship docked with Station Prometheus exactly on schedule. Owen heard the clamps engage through the warehouse walls, heard the hiss of pressurizing airlocks, heard the march of boots in the corridors outside. Duddy didn't stop working. The juvenile razor wing needed another round of fluids. Its temperature was stable now, but still lower than ideal. The parent creature watched from nearby, occasionally rumbling low in its chest. Not threatening, more like checking in. The warehouse doors opened. Armed enforcement officers filed in, weapons ready. Their leader wore the insignia of a sector chief. Krillian species, rigid and precise. His name tag Red Rain. Owen Briggs, you are under arrest for violation of exotic species transport protocols, endangering station personnel, and unauthorized containment of Class A restricted organisms. Vrain's voice was cold and mechanical. Step away from the specimens. Owen finished administering the fluids before looking up. Can I see the written law? You're not in a position to make requests. Actually, I am. Galactic law provides for legal review before detention. Article 7, Section 12. I want to read the specific statute you're charging me with. Vrain's expression didn't change, but he gestured to one of his officers. A datapad was thrust toward Owen. He read through the text carefully while the enforcement team kept their weapons trained on the razor wings. This law prohibits transportation of dangerous, uncontained species, Owen said. But these razor wings aren't uncontained. They're under behavioral management by a qualified handler. You have no galactic certifications. Owen looked up from the datapad. Check your database for Earth, specifically Earth's wildlife management history. Vrain hesitated, then nodded to another officer. The search took several minutes. Owen watched the Krillian's expression shift from certainty to confusion to something like shock. Your planet has successfully managed and rehabilitated creatures that violate every safety protocol in the Galactic Code, Vrain said slowly. Species with venom that melts metal, predators massing over 5 tons, organisms that hunt in coordinated packs. We've been doing it for thousands of years. Owen stood up carefully. The adult razorwing shifted but didn't attack. On Earth, we learned something the rest of the galaxy apparently hasn't. Fear and destruction aren't the only ways to deal with dangerous life. Understanding works better. The Centaurian medic stepped forward. I witnessed this human provide medical care to the juvenile specimen. Advanced techniques I've never seen applied to exotic species. The creature survived because of his intervention. Quirin approached the enforcement chief. Station Prometheus would have lost life support in 2 more cycles. Thousands would have died. This human prevented that catastrophe without firing a single shot. Vrain looked at the razor wings. Parent and offspring, both calm despite the armed being surrounding them. I need to see a demonstration. Of what? Your claimed control over these creatures. Prove they're truly managed and not simply docile due to sedation or containment. Owen considered the request. Risky, but refusing would guarantee the razor wings' destruction. All right. But your teams need to lower their weapons. The creatures can sense aggression. That is not acceptable. Then there's no demonstration. You can't ask me to prove behavioral management while your people are pointing plasma rifles at them. That's like asking someone to prove a dog is friendly while you're hitting it with a stick. Vrain stared at Owen for a long moment, then gestured to his team. The weapons lowered slightly. Owen approached the juvenile Razorwing. The parent watched but didn't interfere. He ran his hands along the young creature's wing structure, checking the membrane integrity, examined its claws, which could tear through metal but remained still under his touch, looked at its eyes, checking pupil response. The juvenile accepted everything. No aggression, no fear. Then Owen did something that made several enforcement officers step back. He moved between both razor wings and called the adult to him, using only tone and body language. The massive creature approached, lowered its head, allowed Owen to examine a wound on its shoulder from the initial containment attempts days ago. Cleaning this properly, Owen said as he worked. Preventing infection. Basic medical care for a living being in distress. Vrain's weapon stayed holstered, but his hand rested on it. This should not be possible. It's possible when you approach living things with respect instead of fear. Owen finished treating the wound. The Razorwing made a low sound that might have been gratitude. These creatures aren't weapons or monsters. They're parents. They're scared. They're in pain. That's universal across every species. The warehouse fell silent except for the hum of environmental systems. Then Vrain's calm chirped. He listened, his expression darkening. The Galactic Council has been monitoring this situation. They're demanding the specimens be transferred to a military research facility for study. No, Owen's voice was flat. That wasn't a request. I don't care. These Razorwings aren't going to be research subjects. I'm taking them to Haven 7, a sanctuary planet where they can live without being tortured in the name of science. The Centaurian medic spoke up. I support this human's decision. The Drellian engineer nodded. As do I. Quirin clicked his mandibles. The station formally declares support for alternative solutions. More voices joined. Species from across the station who'd watched Owen work, who'd seen what compassion could achieve. A minor rebellion, but growing up Vrain's calm chirped again. More urgent this time. The council is threatening sanctions. Military intervention. Owen looked at all the beings assembled in the warehouse, then at the two Razorwings behind him. Parent and child, trusting him to protect them. I've got a better idea, he said. Let me talk to the council directly. Let me show them what humanity really means. Vrain considered this. You want to broadcast to the entire Galactic Council? Yes. Unfiltered. Unscripted. Just me and the truth. They'll never agree. Then let them come with their military ships and their weapons. Let them explain to every species watching why they're choosing destruction over understanding. Owen smiled, but I don't think they want that kind of publicity. The sector chief stared at him. Then, against every protocol in his training, Vrain nodded. I'll arrange the transmission. Owen took a breath. Time to show the galaxy what one human with patience and compassion could achieve. Time to prove that fear wasn't the only option. The transmission equipment filled one corner of the warehouse. Owen stood in front of it while technicians made adjustments. Behind him, both Razorwings rested in the warmth of the environmental controls. The juvenile had recovered enough to stand on its own. The parent kept close, protective, but calm. Across the galaxy, the Galactic Council assembled in their chambers. Representatives from 200 species, all watching a single human who'd broken half their laws in 3 days. The transmission activated. Owen didn't waste time with formalities. My name is Owen Briggs. I'm a cargo hauler from Earth. 3 days ago, I arrived at Station Prometheus to deliver medical supplies and found a crisis. A Razorwing had escaped containment. 2 security officers were dead. The station was dying. Everyone said the situation was impossible. He paused, letting his words settle. I'm not going to argue law with you. I'm not qualified, but I'm qualified to talk about living creatures and how we treat them. So let me tell you a story. Owen pulled up an image on his datapad. A grizzly bear, massive and scarred, trapped in a concrete drainage culvert. 5 years ago, This bear wandered into a suburb outside Seattle. Fish and game wanted to kill it. Too dangerous, they said. Too aggressive. I spent 2 days in that culvert earning its trust. Talking soft, moving slow, proving I wasn't a threat. Eventually, I guided it back to the wilderness. Everyone said it was impossible, that I was crazy. The image changed. The same bear, caught on a trail camera months later. 6 months after that, this bear saved a group of hikers from a rock slide. Pushed them out of the way. One of the hikers was the fish and game officer who wanted to kill it. She told me later she'd never forget what that bear did. Like it remembered kindness and returned it. Owen looked directly at the camera. You've built a society on fear. Fear of the dangerous. Fear of the unknown. Fear of anything that might threaten your safety. And I understand that. The universe is big and scary and full of things that can hurt you. But humanity learned something different. We learned that the most dangerous creatures can become the strongest allies when you treat them with dignity. Behind him, the adult razorwing raised its head. Owen reached back without looking and rested his hand on its shoulder. The gesture was casual, natural, the kind of thing you do with any companion. This creature killed 2 beings, injured 17 more. Every database in the galaxy says it's untamable. Terminate on sight. Complètement impossible. Owen's voice stayed calm. But it's not a monster. It's a parent. Its child was stolen by smugglers. Separated during transport. When I found it, it wasn't rampaging. It was searching. Desperate and scared and willing to fight anyone who got between it and its offspring. He gestured to the juvenile, now standing and alert. That's a child, barely alive when we found it. Hypothermic. Starving. I spent 6 hours providing medical care. The parent watched the whole time. Didn't attack. Didn't interfere. Just watched a stranger save its baby's life. The council chambers were silent. Owen could see them on the monitors. Some species leaning forward. Others conferring quietly. All of them watching. You want to send these razor wings to a research facility. Study them. Learn how to contain them better. Maybe weaponize them. Owen shook his head. That's fear talking. That's the same thinking that's left you unable to handle situations like this without massive casualties. Vrain stepped into the frame. Sector Chief Vrain, Galactic Enforcement. I arrived intending to arrest this human and terminate the specimens. But I've witnessed something I cannot ignore. This human has achieved behavioral management of creatures we classified as completely unmanageable. His methods work. The Centaurian medic joined them. I'm a xenobiologist with 40 years of experience. What I've seen in the past 3 days challenges everything I thought I knew about exotic species management. This human's approach is not reckless. It's sophisticated, based on deep understanding of behavior and biology. More beings stepped forward. The Drellian engineer, Quirin, even some of the enforcement officers who'd arrived ready to kill. We formally request, Quirin said, that Earth be asked to establish a training program to teach their wildlife management techniques to other species, to provide an alternative to our current protocols. Owen saw the council members react, some with interest, others with skepticism, a few with outright hostility. That a voice crackled through the speakers, deep and resonant. The council recognizes Representative Thorne of the Vesper Collective. You may speak. An elderly being appeared on the main screen. Multiple eyes, crystalline skin. I have reviewed Earth's historical records. This species has coexisted with predators that would violate every safety standard we've established. They've domesticated creatures we would classify as weapons. They've saved species from extinction that we would have destroyed as threats. Thorne paused. Perhaps it is time we admitted that our fear-based approach has limitations. This human has demonstrated results in 3 days that our best teams could not achieve in cycles. I propose we allow him to transport the razor wings to his sanctuary planet. And I propose Earth be invited to establish a formal conservation and management program under Galactic Council oversight. Debate exploded across the council chambers. Arguments in a dozen languages. Owen waited. Behind him, the razor wings stayed calm. Finally, the vote was called. The results appeared on the screen. Transport to Haven 7. Approved. Earth Conservation Program. Approved. Charges against Owen Briggs. Dismissed. Vrain turned to Owen. You have 48 hours to remove the specimens from this station. After that, standard protocols resume. Owen nodded. More than enough time. As the transmission ended, beings across the galaxy sat in silence. Some angry, some thoughtful, all of them forced to confront a simple truth. Maybe the scariest thing in the universe wasn't the dangerous creatures. Maybe it was admitting you'd been handling them wrong for thousands of years. And maybe, just maybe, the humans from that violent death world had something important to teach them about compassion. Owen's cargo ship hummed with life as it broke orbit from Station Prometheus. The habitat bay had been converted into proper razor wing accommodations. Heat lamps, ventilation, plenty of space. Both creatures rested there now, parent and offspring together for the first time in days without fear or stress. Through the viewport, the station grew smaller. Owen could see dozens of ships docked there. Word had spread. Species from across nearby systems were arriving, requesting information about Earth's conservation program. Quirin had sent 3 messages already, asking when the first training sessions would begin. The Council's approval had been reluctant but official. Earth would establish the Interspecies Conservation Corps. Humans would teach their methods to any species willing to learn. The first facility would be built on Station Prometheus itself. A monument to the moment everything changed. Owen's comm chimed. An encrypted message from Earth. He opened it. Owen Briggs, this is Director Walsh, Earth Wildlife Services. The Council has contacted us about your demonstration. We're assembling a team. Experts in behavioral management, veterinary care, conservation biology. They'll arrive at your location in 2 weeks. In the meantime, we need you to document everything you did. Every technique, every decision. This is going to change how the galaxy handles exotic species. Owen smiled. Back home, he'd been just another handler. Good at his job, but nothing special. Out here, he'd started something bigger than himself. Another message arrived. This one from Haven 7. The sanctuary planet was preparing facilities for the Razorwings. Grupe Habitat. Medical staff. Long-term care protocols. They were excited. Razorwings had never been successfully rehabilitated before. This would be historic. In the habitat bay, the juvenile Razorwing made a chirping sound. Owen checked the monitors. It was playing. Actually playing, chasing its own tail in circles while the parent watched. Healthy behavior. Normal behavior. The kind of thing you'd never see in a creature kept in fear. The navigation system pinged. 5 days to Haven 7. Owen settled into the pilot's chair and thought about the future. About all the species the galaxy had classified as too dangerous to save. About how many could be helped with patience and understanding instead of weapons and fear. His calm lit up again. This time from a species he didn't recognize. Delpharian, according to the database. Their message was simple. Human Owen Briggs. We have a situation on our homeworld. A creature we call the Thornback. For 3 generations, it has terrorized our settlements. We have tried everything to destroy it. Nothing works. But after seeing your broadcast, we wonder, could it be managed? Could we learn to coexist? We are sending coordinates. Please help. Owen read the message twice. Looked at the Razorwings resting peacefully in his ship. Thought about that grizzly bear from years ago, the one everyone wanted to kill. He typed a response. Send me all the data you have. Behavioral patterns, attack records, environmental information. I'll review it and let you know. If it's possible, we'll figure it out together. More messages arrived. A Centaurian research station dealing with aggressive crystalline life forms. A mining colony plagued by territorial tunnel dwellers. A trading hub where flying predators disrupted shipping lanes. All of them asking the same thing. Help us understand instead of destroy. Owen forwarded the messages to Director Walsh. The Earth team would need to see this. The demand for their expertise was going to be massive. In the habitat bay, the adult Razorwing approached the viewing window. It pressed one claw gently against the transparent material, those 12 eyes looking out at the stars. Owen joined it, standing on the other side. You know something? Owen said quietly. A week ago, You were classified as the most dangerous creature in 73 systems. Now you're proof that the whole galaxy was wrong about what's possible. The Razorwing tilted its head. Didn't understand the words, but recognized the tone. Friendly. Calm. Safe. Owen's datapad chimed with a new notification. The Galactic Council had released an official statement. They were reviewing hundreds of species currently classified as terminate on site, reassessing protocols, opening dialogue about alternatives to destruction that IT wouldn't happen overnight. Fear and habit ran deep, but the conversation had started. That was enough. The ship's autopilot engaged for the long burn to Haven 7. Owen returned to the habitat bay and sat down on the floor, back against the wall. The juvenile Razorwing approached cautiously, then settled near him. Its parent followed. Within minutes, both creatures were resting, completely at ease with the human who'd refused to see them as monsters. Owen pulled out his personal log and started recording. Day 7 of the Razorwing situation. Both specimens are healthy and stable. Behavioral management continues to exceed expectations. Parent-offspring bond is strong. Prognosis for long-term rehabilitation is excellent. He paused, then added something off script. I've spent my whole life working with animals people fear. Grizzlies, wolves, crocodiles, venomous snakes. Every time, it's the same story. People see a monster. I see a living thing trying to survive in a world that doesn't understand it. The galaxy's no different from Earth in that way, just bigger. The juvenile Razorwing made that chirping sound again. Owen reached out and gently scratched behind its dorsal ridge. The creature leaned into the touch. But here's what I've learned. Fear is easy. Understanding takes work. Compassion requires courage. And 9 times out of 10, the scariest creature you'll ever meet just needs someone to prove they're not a threat. He closed the log and settled in for the journey. Outside, the stars streamed past. Inside, 2 Razorwings slept peacefully under the care of a human who'd proven that the galaxy's most dangerous creatures weren't untamable. They were just misunderstood. Somewhere out there, hundreds of species were receiving Owen's message, learning about Earth's conservation program, reconsidering their own protocols. And slowly, one species at a time, one creature at a time, the galaxy was beginning to understand what humanity had known for thousands of years.